All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Night Life Mastery class with me, Matthew Brownstein. I know some of you are new tonight, so welcome. Some of you have been around for quite a while, so glad to have you back. Let me go right to the PowerPoint to just give us some guidance of what we've done and where we're going tonight with it. So the theme is life mastery. Just a few people in the meeting room. Okay. Great. All right. Welcome everybody who joined in. So yeah, this is class 6 of the Life Mastery Path. And basically we're dedicating, here's the schedule of it, the entire almost, a year. We'll do 20 classes every other week to go deep into what it means to live a self-actualized life with success in every aspect of your life. And as I always say in our hypnotherapy school, take what you like, leave what you don't. Obviously, not all of this is for everybody, nor does this whole list include every possible spiritual path. But the intention here is for us to spend conscious time together to take what we like to make our life that much better. But the theme is every category of your life successful, or a sense of mastery in every category. So you can always go back online on instituteofhypnotherapy.com. You can see, or on YouTube, the introduction to life mastery path and self-actualized living. Self-realization, we talked about in a past class, of course, in miracles. But tonight will be a synthesis of Zen meditation, the path of presence, and yogic philosophy, the path of samadhi. So we went into those last time. This is largely life mastery based on deep spiritual teachings. Now, you can apply this to anything. So whether it's making more money or manifesting your soulmate, yet the idea is all categories of your life are successful. And my experience is the best way to do that is start with number one. Start with you, right? So the main teaching in the Life Mastery course is you are your highest priority. So tonight we're going into Anahat meditation, which is deeply rooted in sacred geometry. So let's take a moment with the initial logos of the school and the company and the association. So in case you don't know, you can get a sense of the depth of what's at the core of all this work. So first, as a way to get going, let's talk about the word Anahat, and I'd encourage you to let tonight be a meditation in and of itself. Not just intellectual, but see if you could feel and really get the essence of what we're talking about, because if you do, you're going to feel extremely peaceful, centered, grounded, clear, open-hearted, connected to spirit. I mean, my experience is just in this one glyph that we're looking at on the screen. So if you look at the very center, Anahat, and you see the six-pointed star surrounded by a 12-petaled lotus. That's the symbol for Anahat chakra. But before I go into even the chakra system and how that relates to life mastery tonight and everything else included in the class, let's go to what does Anahat mean in and of itself. There's that one other person in the room so they can hear that. Good evening, Sharon. Welcome. So we're talking about what is Anahat to get started. The word in Sanskrit actually means unstruck, or you could see that as a bell that has not yet been rung. It's a state of pure potentiality. It's beyond time and space. It's beyond name and form. So Anahat really is referring to the very heart of the universe, the very heart of you, the very essence of self. Right? So unstruck is referring to something in a state of potential before it moves or vibrates, before there's any light. You could consider Anahat to be God beyond the beyond, God beyond any idea that we could have in our mind. So if you think about in pretty much every religious scripture, but clearly biblically, it says, God said, let there be light. The question you might ask yourself is, what was there before light? All right, we say God is light, and I'm sure, those who use the G word or whatever you're referring to the divine as, you might imagine infinite light and love and joy and peace and bliss is God and the intelligence that goes with it, the oneness that unites us all. Anahat is the mystery behind all of that. It's subtler than subtle because even pure light is still a manifestation. Anahat is before that. Why is that valuable to understand for life mastery? You are Anahat. You are the pure potential that births universes, right? You might think you're just a human being, but maybe in the life mastery model tonight, we could look at the idea you're not a human being who has a spiritual experience, right? I'm sure you've heard this. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Anahat is you as spirit in the very deepest level of your being. That source in Sanskrit is called Purush, meaning the supreme person, your very own identity. You might not say, if you're not comfortable with the idea that you are God, you're a drop of that ocean. But when you're deep in very, very deep meditation, the drop and the ocean become one. You experience Anahat is a state of pure consciousness, pure potential, and you are there. That you could consider just to be pure consciousness or I am. But let's use the term Purush for a moment. So Purush is the very essence of you as pure consciousness. Anahat before vibration, before movement, before sound. Then there's an energy called Prakriti in Sanskrit. Prakriti is the energy of the universe, right? When God said, let there be light, that's Prakriti, that's the light. In Sanskrit, the word for that, when that emanation happens, is called parinam. There's different words for that level of being when God says, let there be light. But parinam means change. Something changed in the field of pure consciousness. There was an infinite outpouring of light, but also the traditions say it wasn't just light, it was sound, right? In the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God. The idea or that word in Sanskrit is basically Om, right? And Om isn't OM, it's actually AUM. It's ah, it's the first vibration, ah, and then O is the sustaining energy, and is the returning energy. So Anahat Shabd means the unstruck sound or Silent Light, which is my publishing company, Silent Light Publishers. God said, let there be light. So imagine this outpouring of light and sound that's creating the universe. Consciousness is emanating energy. And the point to make here, amongst many, is Prakriti is in the service of Purush. If you get what I'm saying, you'll understand how powerful you are. And it's a reminder of how powerful you are. Prakriti is in the service of Purush. The energy of this universe is in the service of you, right? If you use theistic terms, which obviously I do, there's God and the child of God, but you're created in the image and likeness of your source. So if you consider yourself to be a drop of that ocean, you're a fractal of the divine. Contained within you is all of that creative power. When we're seated in that seat of the soul, in the essence of our being, we are so much more effective and powerful in creating. So that's one teaching to take with you tonight is the energy of the universe is in the service of you. Or in the Bible, it refers to how you have dominion over all things. Dominion doesn't mean you should control it. Gandhi, I think, said dominion has a great level of responsibility and stewardship, right, to the world that you see. A Course in Miracles says you're not the victim of the world you see, you're inventing the world you see, and nothing happens to you that you're not somehow asking for on some level. So Anahat literally refers to you, the very heart of you, but we'll also look at the chakra system tonight and how significant it is. Um, so the symbol at the heart is the six-pointed star, which is worth noting, which we'll come back to throughout the class. And then there's the 12-petaled lotus around it. Meditate on it. It's an extremely deep glyph that reveals so much information the more you spend time with it. You'll notice the same symbol for our company, Anahat Education Group, is in the school, Institute of Interpersonal Hypnotherapy. At the very center, you see Anahat Chakra, but you also see a squared circle. Hold that thought because it's going to come up again tonight, the squared circle, and how significant it is. And then our association has the same image, but also with the ascending triangle, which is extremely relevant to the work. Anyway, just get a sense of the word Anahat, the heart chakra, the deeper essence of the word, and how it relates to light, sound, but also geometry, and the idea of you as created in the image and likeness of your source. So this is the Life Mastery class on every other Sunday night. Again, you can go back and watch the past ones on YouTube or on our website, which is instituteofhypnotherapy.com. There's also a about 25 Course in Miracles classes for free on our website. If you want to go deeper into tonight's teachings, you can go to onlinemonastery.com. It's totally free. All the videos and teachings are there. It looks like this once you're on the website. Um, it's over 60 hours of free meditation training that'll take you through the entire system if you're really interested. We have a retreat for this coming up April 23rd to the 26th up here in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York. So if you're interested in actually applying these teachings with me and others, we'd love to have you there. There's still space at the lodge, and we're doing this up in a mansion up on the hill, up on a mountain with gorgeous mountain views. So love to have you there. The two books that support this work, my novel, The Anahat Meditation System, and this is more of a textbook, The Sacred Geometry of Meditation, if you want to go deeper. So I'm not going to go through each slide, but let's take a moment and just talk about the ox herding pictures, which we talked about briefly in a past class. That'll get us right into the imagery for Anahat itself. So we talked about the spiritual journey and the idea of a seeker, this person, is seeking the truth. They're searching for something more. They're caught up in the world. They haven't done any real spiritual practice, but they say there's got to be something more than just eating and sleeping and having a job and having kids. Like there's got to be some real purpose and meaning. There's like, who am I? Why am I here? The main question you start asking is, who am I? All right, what is this earth all about? Finding the footprints are hearing the teachings. And you could say, in some way, that's what's happening now, right? Where we study the great wisdom traditions. We say, what did the great masters actually teach? And then we follow their footprints. Tonight, I'll be working to synthesize the deep teachings of Buddhism, specifically in the Zen tradition, the deep teachings of Hinduism, specifically in the yogic tradition, the deep teachings of Christ and Christianity, specifically in A Course in Miracles. And of course, when you look at the six-pointed star, obviously it seems like it would be a Jewish symbol on the surface, but Anahat chakra actually, that word and the symbol comes from the Hindu tradition. Specifically, hear a lot about it, of course, in the yogic path. If you read my book, The Sacred Geometry of Meditation, I spent 11 years writing the book, researching it. Researching and writing it, and I looked at every tradition that talks about the six-pointed star. It's not a predominantly only Jewish symbol. In fact, as I remember from my research, it wasn't even adopted until like early in the 20th century as a primarily Jewish symbol. Basically, Christians had the cross and Jews needed something to unite them. It's in scripture. David, I believe, had this on his shield when he went into battle, but it wasn't a specific, and it really isn't a specifically Jewish symbol. So I hope you can see the symbol, though, as honoring all religions. Like the Jewish star clearly can honor Judaism, which really you could say honors the Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition. Also, of course, we find it in Tibetan Buddhism, so we do find this in Buddhism, and definitely, of course, in Hinduism. But to me, the ascending triangle is very much what happens in a yogic path, and the descending triangle has a lot to do with what happens in the Buddhist path. If you put just a line down the center of the star, you could actually put the symbol of the cross in there really pretty easily. So I'd like you to just consider tonight how the teaching is really a synthesis of all the or many of the great wisdom traditions, that the star really contains a tremendous amount of wisdom in there. Anyway, following the footprints of the great teachings of Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Sufism, like all these religions give us something really, really valuable. Following the footprints is a big part of that. Eventually, we get a glimpse of the truth. We start tasting the reality that we're looking for. And I won't spend a lot of time on this. What I just wanted to point out before we go into the teachings is what happens in stage 4. It's called catching the ox or taming the ox. And stage 5 is taming the ox. But catching and taming, this implies your body, mind, emotions are not disciplined, that we're so busy in the world. We're constantly externally oriented. We're looking for love in all the wrong places, right? We're going on all these useless journeys, as A Course in Miracles says. We're not able to just sit peacefully, quietly, and feel the bliss and love and joy of the divine. So tonight, I would just encourage you, no matter where you're at, spiritual practice, spiritual discipline, the whip and the rope that the seeker has in the beginning he, she. I purposely had our artist draw this as androgynous. So it's not just a man or a woman or a boy or a girl. So this person has a whip and a rope, and they don't really even know what that's for. Eventually, they realize, oh, those are inner resources, which I want to elaborate on tonight. We did in past classes, but you have an ability to tame the ox. This is basically getting your body, mind, and emotions in a state of mastery. So you could ride the ox home so that you're human. That's very much, the ox is very much your mind, your ego, but considered also to be just the human, your body, your emotions, your mind, including the egoic sense of self that we all need to to work with. Eventually, that's just not an issue, and you can sit peacefully in meditation. This person in stage 7 of 10 basically is able to keep both eyes on the divine without any wavering whatsoever. This person would definitely be a monk at heart, no matter what their life is like. There's a good book called The New Monasticism, and it basically says, you want to know what a monk is? Anybody who keeps their mind continually in God is basically a monk. And again, the word God is only a word, but someone who's dedicated to truth. But can we just sit in meditation and know who we truly are? Or are we too busy with the ox running around in the world? So the theme tonight is to encourage you to meditate for the life mastery model. To know others is wisdom, to know oneself is enlightenment. So I'm encouraging you tonight the know yourself component as we dive deeper into the sacred geometry behind the Anahat meditation system. So this book was actually is takes place as fiction up here in the Adirondack Mountains. I wrote it 26 years ago, and now I find myself living here, actually opening a monastery here. So, talk about the divine moving through us. I think it's a really enjoyable read if you haven't got into it yet. But anyway, let's look at what we've learned so far about life mastery and start to tie it together. And again, life mastery really starts with us. We could say, well, life mastery is having the home and the car and the person, your significant other and your family and your job. That's great, but let me remind you. So here's the life mastery course outline, and we're just going through it over the whole year in a nonlinear way. We've talked about your core mission statement, life principles, and life categories prioritized. We haven't got into too much else yet, but um, if you're interested in a more systematic approach to this, let me know because I can definitely point you in the right direction on our website. But once you have the clarity of intent of what your life can look like, your true vision, and let me just say, this isn't goal setting. This is going into deep meditation and literally asking, let's just say, your higher self, even though there's lots of other terms for that. And I'll give you some like Oversoul or the Holy Spirit or your Buddha nature or your guides, your angels. You're literally asking higher wisdom, who am I and what is my purpose? If you get anything out of tonight's class, if you're not already deeply asking these two questions, who am I and what is my purpose? Once you have that, you start having vision, and that's a sixth chakra thing. We'll go into the chakras tonight a bit. When you meditate deeply, especially in the ascending path that we'll talk about, you can turn to your sixth, seventh chakra region and basically ask, who am I? What's my purpose? And in deep meditation, you start receiving answers. So you might call it revelation, downloads that come in. Once those start coming in, you write them down. So that's one theme. And then once we have clarity on it, we plug it into the creating manifesting form and then make this stuff happen. So you can go back to past classes and learn about writing your mission statement, your life principles. But what I want to go to before we go back to the sacred geometry and the meditation stuff is life categories prioritized. Just note that when we say what's most important, it's the top three categories that I never have anybody disagree with me on once we start getting into the discussion. Like these are all your life categories generally, right? Most people do this kind of stuff. We want to have success in all these categories. Yet why is spiritual, mental, emotional, physical first? Because that's you. That's the ox. Spirit is, you might say, beyond the ox. But anyway, it's the idea that you have mastery over your spirituality, your mental, emotional health, your physical health. The rest falls into place easily. A career that is coming from spirit is going to be the only true career you could have, and it's going to be the most rewarding career. Anything else will be some kind of useless journey, right? If you have a task to perform, but you perform lots of other tasks, but not the one task, then you didn't do the one thing you're here to do. So being spiritually connected, mentally, emotionally healthy, physically healthy is really the essence of how we're starting this, continuing with the theme tonight. Eventually, we can go deeper into using your mind to manifest wealth, but really, because my mission is health, wealth, and enlightenment, but we're focusing still more on the enlightenment side of it, because without that, you don't have a solid foundation. So when we nurse spiritual, mental, emotional, then these images of a monk in meditation makes a lot more sense, right? This person maybe doesn't, on the surface, they look like they got it together. You never know what's going on inside. They could be very well taming an ox internally. But the idea is this equanimity and poise that comes about from meditation. But let's start to go into some of the sacred geometry. Um, so you get the same sense of equanimity and poise, but look at just the one central line down the middle. In Sanskrit, it's called the Sushumna, or in Anahata, it's called the core central channel. Energy needs to run up and down through this tube, and it basically is a tube, with no blockage, with no hindrance. That's a big part of what meditation can do for you, is consider the line to be the division from left, which might be the past. A lot of people in Western culture, where we write from left to right, we think that we kind of orient the passes to the left. I'd encourage you now, pull back to the present moment to the center line. And remember, Anahat is you, the observer. So you can make it intellectual, but here the meditator is just sitting in the present moment and the central line. The future, you might think, is to the right. Imagine collapsing past and future until they cease to exist for you, and you're only sitting right here now. So I encourage you just to practice that now, eyes open or closed, whatever works for you tonight. But we get totally aligned in the moment. Another big part of life mastery is you've got to clear all the blockages in your hearts, right? Anahat chakra is the center here. Notice how it has an ascending and descending triangle. It's the place where the higher chakras and the lower chakras integrate. So again, Anahat, the heart chakra. Tonight's class is based on heart-centered living. So brief talk about what to do with emotions. Energy flows up and down the chakra system. And here is an image of the chakras. Um, Not the traditional image, but you can see the symbology. And I won't explain quite what the circles are, but basically the circles are part of a cascading circular template that many of you have now seen in the Flower of Life glyph. And here, the Seed of Life glyph, I think that's the right term, at the heart, basically you have the 12 petals and the six-pointed star. You'll see the core central channel, and there's also the two snake-like channels called Ida and Pingala nadis. Energy needs to move up and down through this whole thing smoothly without blockage. So here's the brief talk on how to open the heart and stop blocking the system up. Number one, never suppress your emotions ever again. Once you catch on to how incredibly destructive suppression is to spiritual well-being, you learn never to suppress an emotion again. So rule number one, when it comes to clearing the chakra system, don't suppress emotion. When your emotions come up, it's the life force moving through the chakra system that pushes it up to consciousness. If you take the power of your own will and push it back down, you're blocking the system more. Chakras don't close by themselves. We block them. I mean, if they closed, you would die. But we block chakras big time. They don't just break on their own. They break, they don't break, they close down because you close your throat and don't speak your truth. You close your heart and don't let yourself feel. You lock up your belly to protect yourself. We lock down our sexual energy because it's too distorted and weird. We don't understand it, so we just push it away. Um, Most people generally tend to live with relatively closed chakras. The idea is to get all these open. We couldn't claim life mastery or true mastery over the human, taming the ox. And truly here, the image basically of nirvana or nirvikalpa samadhi here, the deepest meditative merging. And then eventually that's merging with Anahat. This is merging with Anahat as one with all that is, to realize in stage 9, you're one with everything. You can't experience that with a blocked chakra system. So, rule number one about how to start the chakra system open, never suppress an emotion again. All you're doing is blocking your system every time you deny a feeling. Then, two, don't act out on your feelings. Don't vent the emotions. Every time something comes up, anger comes up, and you vent it out, you're actually reinforcing blockages in the system. You're not clearing the system. The real teaching, and meditators inevitably get this, is do nothing. While you have something coming up, you get on the meditation cushion, you do your best to sit still, relax your body, keep breathing, and just feel feelings. We're not going into the whole teaching tonight about how you clear sanskars or blockages, but since tonight is based a lot on Anahat and the heart, it's so important to know the opening the heart teachings. And I definitely cover them in the school. One of the most beautiful teachers who talks about this is Michael Singer, the untethered soul and the surrender experiment. Nikki's been a dear teacher of mine for years, since my early 20s. And yeah, if you want a more in-depth understanding of what to do with emotions, study Michael Singer's work. He's a beautiful podcast now. So the teaching, though, from deep yogic practice is don't suppress your emotions, don't act out on your emotions. Just relax, breathe, and feel. Sit there and don't move. The emotions burn themselves away. When they do, they clear a channel, more light and love comes through. So remember the light, love, the energy, the Shakti, the prana, the chi. That's Prakriti, the energy of the universe. You want to have mastery of that within yourself, right? If you're the consciousness, there's energy in this world. Life mastery says, I'm sitting in the seat of my soul. I have mastery of my energy. All my chakras are open, and I'm functional and fulfilled on all these levels. Let's take a moment and talk about the chakras and life mastery for a moment. And I'll do my best to take us on a meditation tonight. And there's just so much to cover. Um, so, 7 chakras from tailbone to crown. And if you look at these images carefully, like take this one on the right, this is my body back in 2005 or so. And then I've got Anahat meditator who's helping me to come up with this imagery using AI. So this is the newest version. We're using AI to capture the images, but this is actually my body on the right. Notice the circle is right at the tailbone. It took a lot of precision to figure out, but trust me, based on the angle of things, that's right at the tailbone. And then that circle, this larger circle, is right at the crown of the head. Look at the incredible precision of the star at the chin, at the navel. The same circle, which is the width of the nipples, is the exact same size of the head, and from navel to tailbone. So the heart chakra is the very center of that whole movement. Um, yeah, I just wanted to point out tailbone to crown in very precise geometries. Okay, so with that said, the tailbone is the symbol of the square, which represents Earth. For life mastery, I encourage you tonight, set the intention. And if you study Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's kind of aligned with this in many ways. First chakra is food, shelter, clothing, you're safe, right? And if you feel that now, I encourage you to take a big breath in and just think to yourself, I'm safe. I'm safe. Life mastery without food, shelter, clothing, a home, money, right? If you're worrying about money, that's a first chakra thing. Life mastery is that whole category is solid. The home is there, the clothing is there, the money is there. You're not worried on that level. I think I said in a past class, life mastery on any level is when you're at peace. It doesn't mean you have $1 million or $1 billion. It just means you're at peace on that level. That chakra is open, that region of the body stays healthy, and that level of your life is highly functional. We often talk about going up the chakra system because, and that's what the ascending triangle is here. The ascending triangle represents what we talked about last class, the yogic path. Quite often the eyes closed, the energy goes up the chakras to the crown, and we go into meditative bliss, which is definitely part of the goal here. But on the journey up, we also have to start dealing with pleasure and quite often sexuality at the second chakra. The second chakra has a lot to do with pleasure. And have you ever noticed if you're wanting to be aroused, to be with your partner, with yourself, whatever, you want to feel good sexually, while you're worrying about food and money or not, if you're food insecure, yeah, you're probably not feeling aroused. But if you're worrying about money, you've been arguing with your partner about how we're going to pay the bills, nobody's feeling very much like sharing each other's bodies and feeling pleasure and sexual energy. So once you feel safe, then the energy can make it up. And ideally, second chakra, which you'll see here, um, the meditator's hands are in a gentle mudra, but you'll see the energy at the region of the second chakra. In Japanese, it's called the hara, and in Chinese, it's called the Tantian. So Lana was asking me to review how to breathe in the Anahat meditation system. So let's take a moment on that. I'm not saying second chakra in this context at this moment is specifically only about sexual energy at all. But when you're putting your attention down there, you do start to notice it. I had a woman, she was an advanced yogi. She read my book, The Sacred Geometry of Meditation, and she started this book and she started doing descending meditation and she started noticing that she was feeling sexual energy. And she's like, I've been celibate for so long, but now you're telling me to put my attention down there. I'm like, yes, because you're having a human experience and the human body, it's a body and it wants to feel pleasure. It doesn't want to feel pain. And if you're honest, it's a sexual being. So, but putting your attention down there doesn't necessarily mean you're going to the sexual energy. What's happening when we focus below the navel, it's very much what happens in basic Zen practice or even very advanced Zen practice. You concentrate, you put all the attention right below the navel. So you might do it now if you like. When we meditate in a more descending fashion, the eyes are open and you're gazing down. It's often called the noble gaze in Buddhism. It's a very loose peripheral vision. You're not staring at any one spot. The reason the eyes are open is it helps us to be present here now. It's very much what we get from Buddhism is mindfulness. In Zen, it's about presence, which is what we talked about a month ago now, 2 classes ago. Zen is a path of presence. Life mastery, when you have focus down at this level, is the ability to be totally present to whatever you're doing. Just chopping wood, just carrying water, just chopping vegetables, right? You're one with whatever you're doing. It makes you an exceptionally functional person because most people aren't like that. People with their ADHD and um, uh, people are not. Well, here's the thing. We haven't trained our minds. In A Course in Miracles, it says nothing can be accomplished with an untrained mind. So we learn to develop intense concentrated power below the navel. Lana was asking, so I'll guide you just a little. When you inhale, feel your diaphragm muscle pull down. The diaphragm, in case you don't know, is the muscle below your lungs. When you tense it, you're actively pushing your belly out a little. That causes air to go in your lungs. As you exhale, just relax the diaphragm, but keep your attention below the navel. What we're cultivating just below the navel here is called jiriki, or intense concentrated power. And the image here is really good because my original image is from my book. We didn't have AI back then, and I paid an artist just to draw a line drawing for me. But the circle below the navel does, this circle below here doesn't quite represent what's happening as much as this picture. And then we're actually making videos to show how the energy moves. So to me, life mastery at this level is the ability to keep your attention in your second chakra region. And again, I'm not saying that's sexual energy at this moment. That comes later in the Anahat system. But for now, just below your navel, breathe in, breathe out, and you're storing this intense concentrated power there. That power is a mental muscle that you can lose over time. So if you don't use it, you lose it. All right, meditators need to keep this intense concentration. And the reason is you can't go into samadhi, deep, deep, deep meditation without it. What'll happen is that you'll go into these altered states where you start feeling sleepy, yoga nidra-ish, blissful, but then you just fall asleep and you're just gone. You're half conscious or barely conscious. In samadhi, you're not half conscious, you're super conscious. And the way to get there is intense concentrated power. So you can take any body position that works for you. I explain the body positions on the website because we're not going to do it tonight. You don't have to sit full lotus for sure. This is perhaps the best meditation pose, but only best if it's totally comfortable for you. If not, you can sit in a straight back chair. Doesn't really matter, just meditate. But there are better positions for meditation than others. Just know you don't have to sit just like this. However you're sitting now, breathe in, feel the diaphragm pull down, and put all your attention below your navel. Exhale, just keep it there. Inhale, put all the attention below the navel. Exhale, keep it there. Feel like you're building a concentrated ball of power or energy. Right? We want that chakra to be open, and yet we have a sense of mastery over that level of our being. This is very much what you get out of Zen practice. And Lana was asking about the counting. You can do a lot of different things with your mind when you meditate, but basic Zen practice, and it's how I start the Anahat system, is just counting. So inhale, count 1, exhale, count 2 up to 10. Start again at 1. It's that simple. But let's just do it together briefly. It'll be meditative. So just inhale to your belly, count 1. Exhale, 2. At your own pace, inhale, 3. Exhale, 4. Think about being grounded, present, here now. Nothing special. 5. Exhale, 6. Inhale, 7. Exhale, 8. Inhale, 9. Exhale, 10. And then don't let your mind wander. Once you get to 10, go right back to the next inhalation. Start again at 1. That's actually very simple, basic, but really effective meditative practice. The counting is not theistic. It's not dogmatic. You don't have to believe anything. You just breathe and count. Nothing has to be accomplished because in Zen, just to sit is enlightenment. Just to take a meditative pose, and even if your practice doesn't seem good, it's still considered good practice because you're practicing meditation, right? We're not good at it. We practice it. We call it spiritual practice. We're practicing for life itself. You're practicing spirituality. You're practicing for life. So basically, breathe below your navel. Eyes are open, slightly focused down. Inhale, exhale, counting up to 10. If your mind wanders and you lose touch with the counting, just come back to the breathing and counting, right? Start again at 1 with compassion without, beating yourself up. Let's pause for just a moment. So we're just talking about and there's so much to say here, but basically establishing a foundation for a good meditative practice. The core central channel implies we're right here now. Energy needs to move smoothly through the whole system. We don't want a scattered mind. We want a very powerful concentration where the Shakti, the Prakriti, the life force, the word control in English isn't the best word, but there's not too many other translations for the Sanskrit word yam. Yam could be best translated as to control, to mastery over. Your breath, your mind, your energy isn't all scattered all over the place. It's totally here now, and it's deeply rooted in the body. All right, there's value to that, but what tends to happen if you only focus there, like a lot of Zen practitioners do, you might tend to forget about your other chakras, and then you forget about what it's like to close your eyes and merge into deep meditative bliss. To me, that's the yogic path, which is the ascending triangle. Um, so here, when we talk about ascending, we're talking about the higher chakras. But any questions you're sharing, and then I'll start moving up the chakra system, and we'll kind of cover all this as an overview.
So Matthew, so
Yeah.
just basically we breathe in one time, right? One and one out,
Yeah.
right? Like
Inhale 1, exhale
one.
2.
What do you mean Excel two? Like
So
it's
when
only
you
one breath though, right?
when you
Or no?
inhale, count 1. When you exhale, count 2. Inhale, count 3. Exhale, count 4. You're not counting the inhale and exhale. Well, you can. So the very basic teaching is you count every breath. So there's an inhale, that's one. Then count,
One.
then as you exhale, count two. As you inhale, count three. As you exhale, count four. But once you've developed concentration that way, you can inhale with silence, exhale one. Inhale with silence, exhale two. You can count every exhalation, or you can count every inhalation and let the exhalation be silent. But the
Mhm.
first teaching is you count every single breath.
So, but it's only one breath. It's not like you inhale one and then exhale two, like two breaths. No.
No, I'm not counting the two breaths. So
Okay.
just so when I'm
It's
counting, I'm
one,
saying the
two.
numbers.
Okay. Got it.
So
Okay.
yeah. So inhale is number one, exhale is number two.
Number two. Got it. Got it.
Okay, you
Okay.
got it. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, no problem. It's these this is actually why it's good to have a meditation teacher because these little subtle things are so basic. But if
Yeah.
you're in there confused, right? But having a teacher really can help you to go much deeper, like wherever you're at. So anyway, um,
Thank
yes.
you.
So we can, yeah, count. There's other things you can do with like mantra or whatnot, but a very basic, really solid thing is just, yeah, count your breaths. Once you can do it without skipping a beat, then you might start only counting exhalations or only count inhalations. In my opinion, it hasn't really mattered which one. Eventually, you will get to the point where you can stop the counting and you just never miss a breath. You're just totally present. The counting is too much. Your mind is so quiet, you don't need to count at all. But if you notice you're thinking again, you just come back to the breathing and counting. Great, Maurice?
Yeah, I just want to ask you, is there any imagery you recommend while you're at that location?
I think it's not necessarily a recommendation. It depends on if you're more visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. I tend to be more kinesthetic. I feel the energy more than I visualize it. But a lot of people have felt visualizing a swirl, a ball of light that's glowing and building there. You could certainly do it. So feel it or see it. I don't think there's much sound involved. However, if you do want to use sound, there are mantras for each chakra, but I personally don't necessarily do that. So yeah, to me, it's just like I'll use different mantras, but not specifically for each chakra. So yeah, you can see it or feel it for the most part. And then yes, there can be a mantra that attunes to the vibration of where you're focused in your body if you want to go a little deeper in that. Did that cover that, Maurice?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's say when you're inhaling,
Mhm.
is there a better way? Do you see the ball expanding when you're inhaling
Uh,
or
I would see it more filling with light and then
okay,
glowing a little brighter on the exhalation. Inhale
okay.
pulls the chi into it, exhale glows a little brighter, but never too big because it's pretty much controlled in that space. It just becomes like what are those red dwarfs, I think, where these huge stars collapse under the gravitational, they're extremely relatively small, but there's tons of gravity, there's tons of power. You don't necessarily see that in, you see somebody meditating, you think, oh, this monk is just so peaceful. There's incredible power inside of someone who's cultivated 20, 30 years of Jariki. You might not see it because they've learned to be so soft and relaxed and gentle and compassionate, but there's an incredible power there. So, yeah, it's condensing the energy into the ball and keeping it there. But to me, again, it's more of a feeling than it is a visual. Great. Thanks,
Thank
Maurice.
you.
Yeah, thanks, Sandra.
Yes, Matthew, I have a question. You
Mhm.
talked previously that chakras they close, no? And
Mhm.
meditation is a tool to help to open when you and also the expression, I mean, but
Mhm.
with the meditation you can also help the chakras to be
Mhm.
open again, or how it
Yeah,
works,
yeah,
how it is.
definitely. The entire Anahat meditation system, and I teach it because it's so extremely holistic. It's just a synthesis of so much. Um, the idea, though, is you put your attention on different regions of the body through the whole system. And eventually, like remember, I started saying to know yourself is enlightenment, to really intimately, deeply know yourself. So you spend time putting your attention on the different chakras. Anahat meditation does something I haven't seen really any system do. It starts below your navel, so you start to get in touch with this region of your being. And yeah, things will open as you just focus there. Because what you're going to notice, the closer you get to the light, the more you see your shadow. If you just sit still and meditate, honestly, there should be nothing but just bliss, light, love, peace, joy, bliss. However, when you don't feel that, like if you put your attention in your heart and you're full of sadness there, you're going to notice the sadness. You can't not. And then, like I said, don't suppress it. You just got in touch with what's there. But a good mantra for the heart, just do it throughout the day. Take a big breath of your heart, exhale, think open. In the Anahat system, we put the attention on the arms and legs too, because there's meridians in the arms and legs. Just putting the attention there is going to move blood and energy through. In Chinese medicine, wherever the consciousness goes, the energy follows. Wherever the energy goes, the blood follows. So if you want a smooth flow of energy and blood through the whole being, which is part of the picture of health in a sense, in Chinese medicine, we need to clear all the blockages in the meridians. One of the ways you do that on a gentle daily basis is just put your attention there, right? If your throat's closed and you can't just speak your voice or sing the way you meant to sing, just put your attention there and open, right? Again, the chakra's not closed or the body would die because they're energy transformers, but they can get highly blocked. But again, it wouldn't be totally closed, you'd be dead. But if it's blocked, it means you close something down there, usually emotions and things you don't want to feel and deal with. Just focus in the area, open. And the more you learn about breath work, like rebirthing, holotropic breathing, these type of things, you can open the system up faster for sure. But in a daily meditative practice, just putting your attention on the chakras does help them to open. It doesn't mean you're not going to have to deal with the stuff you buried in there, but things will open. Does that help, Sander? Awesome, thank you. All right, we'll come back to Q&A soon enough, but let's finish at least understanding the chakras, how Anahat meditation works, show you some cool things, go from there. The third chakra is at the solar plexus. That deals with personal power. So for you to feel life mastery in this model, you are fully grounded, which is like first chakra. Second chakra, you're very focused, you're very present, but also, of course, we're starting to get into the sexual energy down there. And ideally, you're at peace with that as well. You enjoy being a sexual being. Even if you're, which I very much am, monastic and deeply celibate in many ways, it doesn't mean that the thing isn't a sexual being. The word brahmacharya in Sanskrit means to walk with God, but it's often a word associated with somewhat of like, let's just say, controlling the sexual energy, yam, to regulate, to master one's being. But again, second chakra isn't only about sex. Okay, but again, think about mastery there. Third chakra, personal power. When this is out of harmony, it's going to be belief systems you might hold about I'm helpless, I'm powerless, I'm incapable, I'm not good enough, I'm weak. The words you want to have going on there are powerful, strong, empowered, self-assured, secure within yourself, confidence, high self-esteem. Third chakra, when it's blossomed, is I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm capable, I can do anything I put my mind to, right? You're tapped into your inner power. Uh, at the heart, Anahat chakra. So notice we have the lower chakras, which again, I don't have a exclusive image of it, but if you see a descending triangle, basically that's referring to focusing down and dealing with your human things. First, second, third chakra is very much what it means to be a human being in so many ways. Dan Millman, in his book, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, I believe it was that book. He talks about the great leap up to the heart, or is his book, The Sacred Journey of the something like that. But most people are living in the lower chakras, but when you start putting energy at the heart, you're exclusively focused on love. So in Anahat meditation, we spend a month when you start the system below the navel. Just learn what it's like to come into your body, be grounded, be fully here, be fully functional, master the basics, food, shelter, clothing, your ability to just sit in presence here and now, strong, powerful, confident, successful. And again, because there is sexual energy down there, but everything about what it means to be human, basically there's mastery. Of course, being human is to have an open heart too, so it shouldn't be something that's unique. Yet, when we spend a good month or more, focusing at the heart, so one tip is take a breath in that region, just think open, never suppress. The energy of the heart should basically be only love. You're not holding any grievances. When it's true mastery, you literally don't have any suppressed emotion in there. No more buttons, no more ability to be triggered like so many people are. The general state of the heart, of course, it could let sadness move through and fear move through and anger move through, but you're not holding any of it. There's no block in the heart when there's life mastery. The heart basically should be at peace, and then there's just love, there's joy, there's happiness, there's bliss. And the heart, we often talk about with the heart math work, the heart and brain are in coherence. And that happens in the Anahat system because we're dealing with the heart and the crown. So basically, is your heart fully open to love? Is it at peace? Or are you holding memories, beliefs, and emotions, like not just childhood stuff? When you start opening that, you got past life blockages to deal with too. So it's about clearing all of the past memories. So your heart is very much your subconscious. You don't want to have that as a storehouse of all your past stuff. In life mastery, like this level we're talking about, again, you're totally present. You're not living in the past anymore. We need to liberate all past energy that's been blocked in the region of the heart. And that's where hypnotherapy and breath work honestly shine. At the throat, we're talking about, so now we're up into the higher chakras. The throat deals a lot with expression, expressing who you truly are in the world. But if we talk about the higher chakras from the top down, they make a little bit more sense. So at the very crown, let's jump ahead for a sec. Now we're talking about the ascending triangle. Usually, this is what we talked about 2 weeks ago, yogic practice. Eyes are closed. We're moving the energy up the chakra system and we're focusing on spirit, pure consciousness. At the very crown, that's really Anahat, beyond the beyond. You're putting your attention on pure spirit. So if you did that now, you're welcome to close your eyes, move your attention in and up, pull away from the external world, pull into your very core. There's a space of pure consciousness that you are. I focus on I am. Eyes are gently rolled up within. This symbol for this is the empty circle. The symbol for matter is square. The symbol for spirit is circle. Focus on the sphere of your own awareness. It's called a known distance. Imagine your consciousness is a sphere of energy. And imagine it's about the size of the head, but it's not your head. Go deeper into the core of what it means to be spirit. Not that you have a soul, you are soul. You don't have Buddha nature, you are Buddha nature. You don't have consciousness, you are consciousness. We're putting our attention at the crown in pure consciousness. When you're deeply in that, again, it's pure peace. It's pretty easy to get there if you just know how to just let go of the world and float in and up, finding peace at the core of your being. Your consciousness, not your body, but the core of your consciousness itself. The more you put the intense concentrated power on this consciousness, is pure bliss. It's pure love, yet beyond any duality. It's just the essence of love. Peace, joy, bliss, and oneness. The experience of being one in the crown chakra, mastery in that, is literally one with the underlying ground of all being. You're one with your source here. Now, if you put your attention down to your third eye, here we start talking about vision. So we haven't got into that yet for the Life Mastery course, but vision is not just the ability to see through your eyes. Your bodily eyes don't actually see at all. It's soul that sees, it's spirit, it's consciousness that sees. So vision is not with your eyes. Vision is an inner knowing. And you could say, who am I? At the crown, your spirit. What am I meant to do? What is my purpose? Happens at the sixth chakra level. if you turn deep within and you say to your inner source, whatever you're going to call it, right? You might say, higher self, what is my mission? What is my purpose? Then you get silent, you receive the answers. It comes in pictures, it comes in words, it comes as an intuitive knowing, but it does come to you at that level. Mastery at this level is to know your life vision, to see clearly what's true and real, beyond just your personal vision, but the big picture of what truth is. So we can talk more about it, but at the third eye, you're open to vision, inner vision, life purpose, and how you're one with a much bigger vision that A Course in Miracles, or basically Christianity, calls the plan for salvation. You're part of something wonderful. And then down to the throat now is to express that in the world, not just through your voice, but through your actions. You're starting to bring your vision into the world to communicate it, to express it, to create it to manifest it in this world. And then if you go down to the heart, you do it through love. All right, so you're welcome to keep your eyes open and closed, but I'm going to go back to the screen here. So when we're meditating with eyes closed on ascending, we're putting the attention on spirit, asking, who am I at the deepest level? You'll find what everyone does. I'm pure conscious bliss. I'm pure conscious love. I'm pure conscious light. I am that being. Right? All the teachings point to you are that. And then you have a vision, a mission, a purpose. You're very valuable, very important, and you're meant to communicate that, to express that in this world. It goes down to the heart, done through an act of love. Down in the solar plexus, you're strong and powerful. You can manifest this. It's actually pleasurable, joyful, relatively least effort, and it's bringing you down to the first chakra, the security in the world. So the Life Mastery course actually starts from the top down. Get you in touch with spirits, get your vision clear, get you open to be able to express it, get your heart free from fear so you could live your purpose from love, get your third chakra free of anger. And usually the third chakra is a lot of anger buried in there and guilt, which is anger at yourself. When that's clear, you feel empowered, strong, capable, powerful. And again, life is meant to be pleasurable and relatively comfortable. Pain is telling you something's wrong, right? It's really meant to be comfortable in your body and safe in this world. So life mastery, when you look at all the chakras, is basically I'm spiritually connected. I know who I am with my vision. I have no problem expressing myself, whatever that means. My heart's fully open to love without all the suppressed sadness, fear, anger, grief, guilt, that stuff. The third chakra is powerful, and you're feeling powerful and strong, fully capable. It's pleasurable, it's wonderful, like you're feeling safe and comfortable in this world. All right, so that's a little bit of what the chakras are and life mastery. Let's also take a little bit of time for this. So Leonardo da Vinci did this image called Vitruvian Man, and it shows what's called the golden ratio, or the golden cut and the golden mean. But if you were to, and I've done this for my body, it works. Not everybody's body is exactly aligned with this principle for whatever reason. But generally, the human body is this. So right at the navel, when the body is standing, you have this golden cut. Um, I won't go into the mathematics behind it tonight, but you can easily find this stuff online or read my book, The Sacred Geometry Meditation. But here you'll see the same golden ratio with a golden spiral. And you could see on the face, but every part of your body is aligned with this. The ear, obviously, but we see this in rotating, spiraling galaxies. I mean, the whole universe is based on these principles, very much connected to what's called the Fibonacci sequence. So there is a powerful sacred geometry to the body. And what I discovered in deep meditation was the energy moving through the glyph of the six-pointed star in the body. I was trying to figure out in my early 20s, how could I be fully ascended, but also fully descended with a fully open heart? Zen got me in my body. Yoga got me out of my body into profound mystical experiences. Zen helped me to be a functional person. Yoga helped me to be a God intoxicated mystic. But how do you balance both? Um, it was when the six-pointed star started moving through my body, these energy patterns, that I That's when the Anahat meditation system personally came to me. I practice it every day because I've never experienced anything like it. So then I started researching, what is this all about? We have three main energy centers, the hara, the heart, and the head. You see it here on the right, the hara, the heart, and the head. Um, when the energy comes up the spine, eventually it branches out as wings. So you might say this like when an angel gets its wings, but this is called a tube torus, this shape. Or like think about the Earth's magnetic grid. The Earth is that. It's a tube torus. There's a central channel of energy, and then there's the branching out of the magnetic field. Right? Your body is the same thing. Your energy should be open and blossoming like this without any blockage to the system. The more you meditate this way, the more the energy it vibrates higher and higher. You just literally become a superconductor for divine energy where there's no resistance in your system. So the image here is called Metatron's cube, and there's too much to say about it, but you can definitely, yeah, if you want, really the deepest dive into this is my book, at least the way I explain it, the Sacred Geometry Meditation book. But look at the corners where the hexagram or hexagon here fits in. Again, the precision is just incredible. But here's something amazing if you haven't seen this yet. So again, I don't have it with clear imagery, so you have to pay attention to the explanation. The center circle here, remember I said we come back to the squared circle. This smaller circle where my cursor is moving around is if you said that's the relative size of the Earth, picture the Earth right there. Now we square the circle. Remember, the symbol for Earth is square. So we have a circle representing the size of the Earth, and we square that circle. Then the second larger circle is the same perimeter or the same area as the square. So it's not an arbitrary size. This outer circle is the same perimeter in length as this circle is the same as the outer square. Then this circle at the very top, the smaller one, it has its very center bisected by this larger circle, right? So the very center of this circle shows the size of that circle, right? Now, to 99 point something percent accuracy, if this is the size of the Earth, that's the moon. If you don't, if that doesn't blow your mind, if you haven't heard that yet, then you didn't get what I'm saying. The Earth is this big relative to the moon being that big. There's no other planet that we know of that has that proportion. Um, every other planet, the moons are way smaller. Our moon is really weird. If you haven't studied, like, do you even know what that thing is? We don't even really know what it is. Why is one side always facing us? Why is it that exact size? Why is that exact distance? The more you look at the mathematics, it's uncanny. But now, what I found in Anahat meditation is the body is the temple of spirit. If you take that same glyph and you draw a triangle right exactly in with for the middle here, this is the exact shape of the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau, about 51.5, 52-degree pyramid. Now look at it over the human body. Right. It's you are creating the image and likeness of God. You're not a body, but you have manifested a body. And you, spirit, are creating the image and likeness of God. The idea here is the human form becomes the temple of spirits. And so again, to know yourself is enlightenment. When you know, hey, I've got these energy centers, right? I've got these chakras. I've got this core central channel. I've got energy that can move up my body. I have energy that can move down my body. Once this whole thing is blossomed, I use the term fruition. And if you want to study the Merkaba, the light energy body, you will see in the Merkaba tradition, it is a three-dimensional six-pointed star, a star tetrahedron. When your whole being is aligned with that, to me, that's mastery over the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, especially when you're doing it in a meditative context. So, and then here, 36 and 72-degree triangles, these are actually the golden triangles based on the golden mean or the Fibonacci or the golden mean. So in Anahat meditation, the energy actually moves through this glyph, and that's the essence of the system. So if you go to onlinemonastery.com, going through all the videos can help you to start, learning how to actually meditate in this way. It's a nice kind of just an overview based on life mastery. So anyway, we've got an ascending triangle. So you can say, are you kind of doing the ascending path right now? Or descending triangle? Are you descending coming into your body? Let's go to a little Q&A, and I'll just guide us on some meditation to hopefully give you a feel for what it's like to start to sense these energies in your body. Also, by the way, once you're very intimately connected with the star tetrahedral field around your body, you can actually start to rotate the tetrahedrons. You spin these, and when technically in the Merkaba teachings, you can get them spinning to 9/10 plus speed of light. It's just all in your mind. So getting in touch with this grid and then learning how to actually rotate it and move energy through it is an extremely profound experience. It leads to very deep meditative states, out of body experience, astral projection, cosmic conscious experiences. So yeah, it's more than just getting success in every aspect of your life. It's really mastery over yourself, deeply knowing yourself as I'm going to use the G word, as a child of God. But yeah, the incredible mastery that comes from being connected with all these levels of your being. And again, successful on every level of your being. Okay, any questions you're sharing? And then let's just spend a little time meditating in this. Maurice?
Yeah, I want to say for those who haven't started yet, it's a real profound system indeed. I've been journeying with it since Matthew started. He didn't ask me to say this, y'all. But
Well, you went through it in like 2020, but I
right,
actually started this stuff in 1996. We're going.
right. It's really a profound experience and benefits to be obtained from it
Thanks
of
for yeah.
peace, peace within yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. That at minimum, right?
yeah.
Yeah, the gentleman who's helped me to make those AI graphics and videos, his name is Mike. He's been through the system. He's like, there is nothing like this. Like, we need to get this out there. So yeah, actually being able to see what the energy does, yeah, in AI is going to be really, really powerful. But thanks, Maurice. All right, great. Let me take you just on a, 10 minutes or so. Or we technically have to 8:30. So yeah, if you like, we'll do it with eyes closed. You're welcome to close your eyes. And I invite you just to let your chin be slightly tucked in and just breathe below your navel. Feel your sitting bones. Feel your hands. Feel your arms. Feel your legs. A huge part of life mastery is present moment awareness. If you're living in the past or the future, you're living in fiction, and you're probably very afraid or upset. So when you're just here and now, just that alone is peace. Yet descending energy is about being fully with your body, in a sense, in your body. You're breathing below your navel. As you inhale, feel the belly soften, but push the diaphragm out a little as your belly extends, but let it be soft. As you exhale, keep the attention below the navel and gently just let the exhalation flow right back into the inhalation. Breathing in, be aware that you're breathing in. Breathing out, be aware that you're breathing out. See if you can be very intimate with the breath, one with the breath. So there's no duality between you and your breath, which means there's no mind in between consciousness, body, and breath. If you do have thoughts, which you will, just come back to the breathing. And instead of counting, let's just simply work with I am. Breathing in, the attention is below the navel, I. Breathing out, am. I am. Whatever you do with your mind now is up to you, yet let's keep the attention below the navel. This brings you into body level awareness. Doesn't mean you are a body. It's just that you're aware of your body. You're listening to your body. Is it tired? Is it uncomfortable? We have ways to deal with that. But here, while you put your attention on it, you might realize that the body needs some help. Maybe eat lighter, maybe exercise more, maybe drink more water. This is just letting you be in touch with your body, accepting that you have a body. You're not resisting being human. You could say to be fully human is to be fully divine. Because when you're fully here, there's no need really to think. Your mind is a problem-solving intelligence, but today's Course in Miracles lesson, I think it's this, let me recognize my problem is already solved. Maybe it wasn't quite today's, but a recent Course in Miracles lesson. Let me recognize my problem is already solved. If you had no problems, you wouldn't need to think. Right now, in this moment, you have no problems. Just breathe and be at peace with your body, letting what is be what is. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization has a deep acceptance to what is. You're at peace with what is because you're allowing what is to be what is. I'm just here now with my body, with the breath in the present moment. Essentially, that's the essence of Anahat Meditation 1. Now take a breath and pull the energy from your hara, the space below your navel, up to your heart. As you exhale the heart, think open. And then take a few breaths as if you're pulling the energy from below your navel up to your heart. Every exhalation at the heart, just for now, think open. Here you're opening to love. When this chakra is blossomed, it's about self-love. Of course, the deep teaching here is to forgive. Forgive everything. Forgive everyone. If there's anything unforgiven, that's your work, to get your heart open and clear. You're not suppressing anything into your heart anymore, nor do you act out on that stuff. You just let it slowly, or as quickly as you can, to clear itself out. Just breathe at the heart, I am, and see if you can sense I am love. The heart being open, the only energy there being love. Love is also happiness. You'll feel pure joy if your heart's truly open. This is not only love for yourself, it's love for all others. Love for your significant other, your family, your friends, but really, love for all beings. A fully open heart is just like the sun shining in all directions. Imagine anyone who comes before you is blessed in your love. It's not special, it's holy, it's all-encompassing. Not only self-love at the heart and love for all beings, but divine love. Love of Source, love of God, love of whatever you call that. Love of love itself. To see if you can realize you do love love, which means you love peace. And if you use the G word, it just means you love God. Whatever you call it, you do love it. Because you love feeling peace, love, joy, oneness, and bliss. And that's what an open heart is left with. When there's no more blockage, and just breathing your heart open and peaceful. And once that feels clear, yet for now, you can let your chin be up just a bit, so your chin's kind of level to the ground. Gently roll your eyes up into your head, gently, and pull the energy as you inhale from your heart up into your head. As you exhale, start transcending, ascending, going beyond the human, beyond the emotions at the heart, beyond the mind at the head. See if you can go above body, emotions, and mind. At the crown, you might think, I am. Not I am body, not I am emotions, not I am mind, just I am. Pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure bliss. The concentration we talked about earlier, that you cultivate at the beginning of the practice, helps you to stay conscious here. So keep intense, concentrated power in the space in your head in the higher chakra region. I am. You are peace. You are pure bliss. You are purer than pure. Whiter than white, as one of our lovely presenters said at our last conference. Purer than pure, whiter than white. Feel what it's like to go beyond the beyond. Anahat is that which is not vibrating. Just keep putting your attention in and up, as if up into your head and beyond. Not above your physical head, but in and up, as if through the darkness behind closed eyes, but up further, further back. Notice how quiet and peaceful. It's always there. It's immortal and eternal. It doesn't die when the body dies, meaning you are immortal and eternal. Notice how this you is absolutely pure, completely free, and forever. You are pure, free, and forever. Immortal, eternal, unchanging, forever safe, always guided, loved, and cared for, because you're one with your source. And self doesn't hurt self. Trust in the goodness of the essence of your being. Now, I invite you to get a sense of how this can integrate with the six-pointed star. Just breathe up to your head. Imagine the six-pointed star around your body. A descending triangle from your shoulders down to your navel. An ascending triangle from your kidneys up to your head. Just feel what it's like to breathe up to your head. Exhale down to your shoulders. Inhale down below your navel. Exhale up to the level of the kidneys. Your heart is the center of this. Inhale up from the kidneys to the crown of the head. From the crown, we exhale down to the shoulders. Slowly inhale down below the navel. Exhaling up to the level of the kidneys, that's the bottom of the ascending triangle. Inhaling to the crown. Exhaling to the shoulders. The heart is open, inhaling below the navel. Exhaling up to the level of the kidneys. Up through an open heart to the third eye crown region. Down from the crown to the shoulders. From shoulders we inhale again below the navel. Exhale to the level of the kidneys, the solar plexus. Inhaling up to the crown. Exhale, soften the shoulders, let the light in. Inhale, ground that energy below the navel. And then I just invite you to return your center back to your heart, the center of ascending and descending. Imagine a six-pointed star at your heart with a 12-petaled lotus. The heart is the center of ascending and descending. It's a six-pointed star within the larger six-pointed star from tailbone to crown. See if you can just get a sense that all of these geometries are inside of your being. Your body is based on all these divine proportions. Your body is the temple of spirit, but remember your spirit. And Anahat is the heart chakra, but it's also the heart of the universe, which is you. So I invite you to stay centered at your heart now. And as you breathe into your heart, where you're fully grounded, yet fully open to spirit, you're connected to your lower and higher chakras. You're centered here and now. And at your heart, only love. At the heart, only love. And then if you breathe into that, see if you can just feel a deep peace within your very own heart. So that I am permeates all levels of your being. So we're successful in all 7 chakras, successful on the human level, successful on the emotional level, successful on the mental level, and of course, successful when it comes to being spiritually aware right here now. And take your time when you're ready. Sometimes it's nice to come out of meditation by rubbing your palms together and just massaging your face and eyes if you like. So whatever you need to do, transitioning. Good. All right. So we can open some Q&A before we get to the hour and a half or, towards the end time mark. But yeah, so you can go crown, shoulders, tailbone, like that image of the star is very much what was happening when the Anahat meditation system came to me. And when I teach it on onlinemonastery.com, I usually don't go into the whole six-pointed star meditation. It's simple, but it's profound. So the system takes you systematically towards an unfolding of 12 essential core meditations there. It's totally free. I just offer this out of it's priceless to me. Like, yeah, I do this every day because it's just how incredibly good it feels, incredibly balancing it is. So yeah, onlinemonastery.com, 60 hours of taking you through the whole system. But today's, just an intro. Sharon.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Matthew, so much.
Mhm.
Okay, when I first was listening to class, I
Mhm.
felt so overwhelmed, like, I'm never going to get there. I'm like
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
not there, like in terms of life mastery. Like,
Mhm.
I I feel like a total novice.
Yeah.
However, I started studying this
Mhm.
a year ago. And, like I've went through a long, like 8-month period where I didn't practice it at all. It just
Mhm.
wasn't possible. My life was insanely busy. But
Mhm.
so for the last couple of months, I've been back, practicing the first 2 levels. And I am currently back to the first level of just trying to do 5 minutes a day on the root chakra area,
Mhm.
the descending, right? So um I've never gone all the way through to this point.
Mhm.
It's like I'm so confused because like I have done a lot of, you know, um, crown and like third eye chakra meditation in my life. And so
Mhm.
and that at that level, I feel like I'm, you know, like definitely advanced in comparison to my peers.
Hmm.
But my peers, but my life, my actual life situation is very root chakra
Mhm, mhm.
right now. There's been a lot of tumultuous stuff. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is what I just experienced with superimposing the, you know, like the
Mhm,
triangle and the lotus flower around my heart.
mhm.
It was like so incredible. Like I just never saw the beauty of my heart before. I
Yeah.
felt like this incredible light emanating from my heart, and it just was so profound. Like, I don't know. I'm confused about, I guess, who I am and how I'm ever going to get to where I want to be. Like, I don't know if that was even a question, but it was just maybe more an observation.
That's
I don't
good.
know.
I appreciate you sharing. Question or observation. That's yeah, can comment back on it. So first of all, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Um, yeah, when we start hearing about life mastery, self-actualization, the ox-herding pictures as one way to show the stages we go through. Each stage, when you're actively disciplined practicing, will take about a year. So it's going to take 10 years, no matter how you cut it, for the most part, depending where you start. But generally, it's a 10-year journey to enlightenment in a monastic tradition, let alone those of us who are more scattered. So in Zen, the student says, I don't have 10 years. And the master says, well, it'll take you 20 years. 20 years? I don't have 20 years. Well, it'll take you 30 years. So you just start where you are, right? 1,000-mile journey begins with the first step. So just realize it's a lifetime practice and it's always improving. So, but I'm glad to hear what you just said about the heart opening. You want to feel like some results and staying only in meditation one in this system. You said level, but I think you meant meditation. The system has 4 levels, but you're saying meditation one. Meditation one is only meant to be done for about a month by itself. But what you realize if you're focusing only below your navel, you're missing all that other good stuff of all the other chakras. So if you only focus third eye and crown, you start realizing you're neglecting stuff below. And usually mastery isn't just about, oh, wow, I can meditate in pure bliss. That's great. But if you're a dysfunctional human being, you might say you're self-realized, right? You might know, hey, I'm the bliss and light of pure consciousness. Good. You caught on. Awesome. But how's everything else going? So to me, I teach self-actualization, not just self-realization, right? We can be self-realized, but not necessarily self-actualized. Success on all 7 chakra levels is, yeah, is a lifetime. It's lifetimes, actually. If you buy into reincarnation, why do we keep coming back? Because, yeah, it takes lifetimes to eventually, figure it out. But um, what did a Jewish rabbi, he was once speaking to our group, and he said, yes, we as Jews believe in reincarnation. We do, but only a fool wasted their next lifetime to do what they can do now. So I believe any good meditation teacher should motivate you to get on the meditation cushion. But yeah, don't spend more than a few weeks to a month doing just meditation one descending. Then start working on the heart. But while if you go through the lessons at onlinemonastery.com, when you're spending a month below the navel, putting off the other chakras, it's about getting that stuff aligned, right? Like while you're focused on meditation one, get a good exercise routine. Start doing yoga or Tai Chi or something. Improve your diet. Start drinking more water. Start improving your sleep, right? It's about, all right, I'm going to put my attention on my human and I'm going to get my human life together. Then you spend a month at your heart in that system. Let's deal with the heart. Let's get some therapy or hypnotherapy, NLP, life coaching. Do something. Clear the blockages in your heart, right? Get that all open. And then meditating up here is really relatively easy because you're transcending all the painful human stuff. You're just meditating in bliss. But for me, it's the six-pointed star that balances the ascending and the descending. Fully ascended, fully open to spirit, fully descended, fully open to spirit with a fully open heart. I just never heard a system that spoke that way. That's why I feel the need to teach it. But yeah, that's beautiful though. Over 8 months, you feel like, hey, you're making some progress. So I would just say keep sticking with it. But yeah, I think sometimes people spend too much time in this system on meditations one and two, rather than like today, I usually don't go into the six-pointed star because I just want people to grasp the importance of the other, all the aspects of it. But the meditation is super simple. Just move your energy through this pattern where you always connect to spirit, always connect to your body, always having an open heart. Just do that alone. It will change your whole life. So I hope that helps, Sharon, but thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other sharing or questions? All right. So next week, just so you know, we're going into living enlightenment, entering the marketplace with helping hands. So we'll spend a lot of time, just show you the image of that. Whoops, that's my that's my email. So hopefully that's not on there. Where, one sec. Okay. Yeah, just wrapping it up. Next week we'll start talking a lot about step 10, stage 10, entering the marketplace with helping hands. This is essentially the deepest, most profound level of the enlightenment process. Here in the beginning, you're a seeker, but at the quote end, which is in a real end, you become the master, the teacher. You are entering the marketplace with helping hands. It's about coming back into the world. So with that, we can start moving further in the life mastery course to things like the universal laws we live by and your vision, because entering the marketplace in the enlightenment process is being of service to others, which means you're doing your dharma, you're doing your purpose, right? You're important, you're valuable. There's a reason why you're here, and students and clients, people you're going to help, are waiting for you, right? We all have a mission and a purpose, and it's not alone. You're doing it together with all of us who are working to make the world a better place. So anyway, that'll be the next class, which should help to unfold mission and vision and purpose even more. And we can get into universal law as well. Great. Thank you, everybody. Any other questions you're sharing before I wrap it up? Kenya said, that was a great little meditation. Thank you, Matthew. I felt an electrical current was running through my body. And as a shameless plug for the retreat coming up April 23rd up here in the Adirondacks, we're going to be living this for a good 3 days. Thursday, Friday evening, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and even into Monday morning. So, or something like that. So anyway, I'd love to see any of you there who are interested, and thank you all. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Anything else before I wrap it up? All right. Good night, all. Appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you,
Have a
Matthew.
wonderful
Thank you,
evening.
everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.